GNC 602. It's Tuesday, August 17th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central podcast, sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Geek News Central is a primarily tech podcast network back in Honolulu. Boy, I tell you, it's beautiful here. I'm glad to be home, and even for a short two-show appearance here at the studio before I pack my bags again. We'll talk about that in a second, but you know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right. I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast. Of course, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Oahu. Hey, did you see my little goof there? Yeah, what I did is I didn't cue the video intro. So when it flipped, the video didn't start, so I had to reach over and manually start it. Oh, that one was on me. So, you know, that's what happens when you're away from home for a week and basically been doing the show a little different way. Hey, anyway, welcome to everyone to the show again. My name is Todd Cochran, and I want to welcome you to the Geek News Central podcast. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content over there. Of course, check out our archive podcast available, the podcast link on the website at geeknewscentral.com. While you're over there, get signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter will contain everything that I talk about during today's show, delivered directly to your email inbox immediately following the show. Contains all the links and tidbits of information that I'm going to cover. Of course, contains emails sent by you, the listening audience. If you have comments on today's show, you can get really connected by, send me a comment via geeknews@gmail.com or call our voicemail hotline at 619-342-7365. That's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I tell you, just, submit those details and whatever we cover in the show, go in the email newsletter and you'll get it in your inbox. But, wow, lots of stuff going on. Flew back to Hawaii on Friday. Got in here about 11:30, I guess. Of course, I did the show Thursday night at the super top secret location that I was at, and then slept for about, well, I really didn't sleep. I think maybe 2 hours if I'm lucky after having a long day. Got to the airport really early. I had to be there 4:30. Got all checked in, settled in, flew to San Francisco, connected, and got into Hawaii 11:30 in the morning, which was kind of weird because I usually get in late in the afternoon. That's, going to the, being on the West Coast, it's possible to get back at a decent time. So my wife picked me up at the airport, and she had my car. Of course, her car, as we had talked about in the last show, it had some quote-unquote issues, and she drove me home, and I didn't even unload my suitcase out of the car. I just, grabbed her keys and got in her car and started it up. And immediately, upon starting it up, I said, not transmission, as she had thought it may have been. And it was definitely something else. So basically, I ran into the house, picked up one of those super long screwdrivers that all guys have, and started poking around, listening to the motor in different locations, and listened to the first thing I thought was maybe one of the springs on the valve gasket had broke, and listened to the head and different, walked down through the different pistons and listened to the alternator. And so I said, where's the water pump on this thing? And finally found the place for that. And sure enough, rah, 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 that's where the noise was coming from. So, no transmission. But upon more exploration of what was going on with her car, I'm like, this valve cover's leaking oil in the back, because I was getting these little wisps of smoke. Now, this is only a 2002 Nissan Quest. Now, you guys know me. I love to drive vehicles till the wheels fall off. The last one I had, the wheels basically fell off at about 600,000 miles. And this one's only got 120 on it. And I'm like, this thing shouldn't be leaking at 120. I can understand a water pump. So I got to saying, did we ever change the timing belt on this thing? And she said, no. So, yeah, $1,500 later, and it's still not out of the shop. We will have a new water pump, thermostat, a new timing belt, a new head, a valve cover gasket. Because the spark plugs are hard to get to in the back, they're almost near impossible. I had them do the plugs and just do the plugs only. They always want to sell you cables. I'm like, I don't need the spark plug wires. Just put new plugs in it. It's working fine. Why do I need wires? And so I think, though, what we're going to do is once we get the issues worked out, I think we're going to put a for sale sign in it because this car's been nickel and diming to death. And as much as it's 2 years early on what we wanted to do to replace the car. We wanted to make to 2012 with this particular vehicle. And we're still going to talk about it, but I did spend a little bit of time Friday afternoon, jet lagged as I was, and Saturday kind of looking at some vehicles, some potential vehicles. And it's not what I had planned because I've got a policy about cars, and those that know me know that I take my car shopping seriously, and usually it's used vehicles, not new. So anyway, we're making a decision, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But not a good time. It's never a good time for this type of stuff. But just this vehicle, well, if it comes back, it's running good, maybe I'll say, all right, one more year, I'll roll the dice on it. But and things come in threes, right? So water pump on my wife's car, and then Sunday afternoon, the dishwasher that's been in this house since it was built 10 years ago died. So yeah, water pump, dishwasher, that's two. What's the third thing? I don't know. But what does that have to do with tech? Nothing. But I just, I go away for 3 or 4 days, and it's just like things start falling apart. So I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed here that we're not going to have any more water-related instances. So anyway, that's it. We did get some responses on my call for sponsored tweets. If you want to be basically tweet for the show and get paid to do so, you got to send me an email, geeknews@gmail.com. We're going to be I'm probably going to wait another week as I collect some more names before we roll this thing out. I kind of wanted to get it started this week, but I just want to get the numbers up a lot higher than what they are. So if you're interested in doing tweeting for the show and get paid to do it, send me an email, geeknews@gmail.com. Put sponsored tweets on the subject line, and we'll get you an information email out when I email everyone as a blast, in an email blast. Don't forget also to check out our free magazines available on the website at geeknewscentral.com. It's the second column of the website. I want to give, of course, a warm welcome to the Ohana, all the longtime listeners of the show, and those of you that are checking out the show for the very first time. And we've got listeners from 170 countries worldwide. I actually need to see what the viewer count is, too. I need to go and look and see where our viewers are across the country and throughout the world. And I know it nowhere matches our audio listening audience, but we'll definitely have to get a count on how many actually video listeners there is. I've already talked about signing up for the newsletter. Of course, subscribe to the show so you don't ever miss a single episode. And, of course, if you're watching us live on Justin.tv/Geek News, or if you're watching us on the Ustream channel, I want to thank you there. I know we're getting a lot of people watching us really delayed on the Roku box. And today, our new developer actually pushed out an update to our Boxy channel, and also we're going to be rolling out the Blueberry Boxy channel here shortly. I know it's done. It's been submitted. We got to wait for the Boxy folks to put it into the system. And they made some major changes there, and it's his first major project turned in after a week on the job, so I'm excited to see what he has accomplished. I know he worked with Brian, our team member, to get that done. So we're working on some other channel developments as well. Also, we're talking with the BlackBerry folks, so we're excited about that. Of course, they've got a new podcast channel, so we're going to be probably submitting a number of shows over there for that or within our community. So they've reached out to us. We're going to see how that goes. I guess that's it for, just regular stuff going on. Class is kicking my butt. I've got, how many weeks left now? 7 or 8 weeks left on this. I think we're down to 7 weeks left on this current college class. And it's 12-week quarters because it's an online deal. It's not like a 10-week normal in-class quarter. But so far, so good. And it's just one of those things I'm trudging through. Okay, got a lot of stuff to cover tonight on tech. Do have a lot of great tech content for you tonight. A lot of emails have came in over the past couple of days. We'll cover at the end of the show. Of course, we have a lot of, I think we've got 3 voicemails, but 2 of them are suspect because they're both 47 seconds exactly each. I haven't listened to any of them in advance, so we'll see what those are at the end of the show. And also, I missed some emails from the last episode, some stuff that I tagged in basically when I was in meetings with my iPad. Did not make it into the right category, so we'll talk about that at the end as well. Let's take care of a little business here. Of course, GoDaddy, longtime sponsor here at the show. And if you have a smartphone, you have 24/7 access to GoDaddy.com. And we want to make sure that you get over to GoDaddy and pick up their great products and services and manage all that, again, via your mobile device. You can get a free iPhone, Android, BlackBerry app to make it really easy to manage your domains or even register new ones. Plus, you can still use our promo codes here on your phone, so you can always get the best deals even when you're on the go, and that's the most important part. So, again, remember you can download GoDaddy's free iPhone, Android, or BlackBerry app to order right from your phone. And when you're getting in there to use my promotion codes, feel free to use Todd to save you 10%. Todd20 will save you 20% on a 1-year shared hosting account. Geek5 will save you 15% on orders $20 or more. The COM sale code is supposed to be working for renewals again, so I think you get renewals now at $7.67 or it's one of those two, $7.67 or $7.69. I need to double check it. So make sure you're definitely using that renewal promo code. And, of course, Aloha will save you some money. You can find all the codes at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, and that'll get you dialed into all of our savings codes that are available out there. Tell your friends, neighbors, best friends, enemies, whoever that you run into about our codes. Make sure they get the best savings through GoDaddy.com. Thanks for GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. Hey, as always, geeknewscentral.com/offers is where the offers are at, and a variety of different products and services available for you as a listening audience. geeknewscentral.com/insider is where you come to, or where you go to help support the show with either a $2, $5, $10, or $20 a month commitment to basically contribute to my salary placement plan. And looking for some more insiders, and I'm glad those of you that got the last insider enjoyed the video presentation I put together for you. Gotten a lot of great feedback from that. So we hope to add you to our insider list, again, at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Now, if you want to pick up cool wear for basically shirts, T-shirts, mugs, mouse pads, that type of stuff, go to cafepress.com/Ohana store. Before I get into the tech here, if you aren't using a web conferencing tool or the service you use is clunky, use my first choice, GoToMeeting. I've set in a lot of online meeting sessions with a variety of different companies using a variety of different platforms, and nothing works like GoToMeeting. Web conferencing lets people come together globally or allowing you to meet online to present, demonstrate, or collaborate in real time. And GoToMeeting can substantially reduce meeting-related expenses. You don't have to rent a room. You don't have to fly nobody in, or you don't have to go there. You don't have to provide snacks or take someone out to lunch. But yet you can still have a great personal meeting where they're looking at your desktop, or you're looking at their desktop, or they're looking at yours, and you can have a great, basically reduce your phone bill by using the voice IP service. So GoToMeeting, brought to you by Citrix, is my favorite because it's the easiest to use and the most affordable. For being a listener of this show, you can get a free 30-day trial at GoToMeeting by going to gotomeeting.com/tech podcast. That's gotomeeting.com/tech podcast for that free 30-day trial. And really, all you got to do is go over to the website, and there's a link there. You sign up for you put in your first name, last name, email address, and you get in and it walks you right through the process to get set up. And again, check them out. Thanks for GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. What's going on? I know what's going on with my monitor here. I have to make a change. What I have to do in order to put articles up on the screen is I reduce the resolution of the monitor to 1024 by 768 on the monitor that we actually put up on the screen for you to see. And what that does then is, let me bring this back in there, and let me see if when I flip that in what happens. See, now it's much bigger. Now you guys can see the full screen, can't you? It's a lot better than what it was when it was cropped, right? Okay, oh, well, you know, your trusty host here. Yes, I want that to stick. Keep changes. Okay, good. Now it's dialed in. Let's go ahead and get into the tech here and kind of kick back tonight. And it's nice and cool here, dealing with the teenagers as usual. So I had a little stressful moment at dinner, but since then everything's been kicked back. But imagine, we're talking about raising kids these days, and let's talk and related to tech. Here's something that Google's CEO suggested, and this is pretty remarkable. Eric Schmidt has been making his rounds, having a number of interviews recently, and the Wall Street Journal ran an interview that offered tidbits like that, was basically on a wide range of topics. And one statement in particular that he made said that teenagers should be entitled to change their names upon reaching adulthood in order to separate themselves from the Google record of their youthful indiscretions. Now, I think I talk with my kids all the time about, what they do and how the basically online world is forever. But imagine the gall of this guy to say that teenagers should have the right to change their name because being youthful and putting stuff online may end up hurting you in the long run. He predicts that every young person will need to change his name in order to disown basically those, the things they did as a youth. And the Google permanent record is really using their real name, their original name, is going to be too incriminating in the piece. Now, this is pretty amazing that he would be serious about this. And the Wall Street Journal indicates he was very serious in this discussion. He goes on to say that he doesn't believe society understands what happens when everything is available, knowable, and recorded by everyone all the time. And he said this before. But what do you guys think? Think about your kids. Your kids are doing something and they put something online that maybe they shouldn't have. And, turn 18. They say, oh, that's Mom, Dad, I'm going to change my name to, something other than your last surname. And, it's all of a sudden they can hide from the internet. I don't know about this. What do you guys think? Love to hear your feedback. geeknews@gmail.com. Voicemail hotline, 619-342-7365. It disturbs me a little bit. Why not give teenagers, or those that are 18, or just 17 or 18, and when they turn 18, maybe they'll have a year. Why don't they have a way for Google to clear everything, Clear Facebook entries, clear caches of data. It's never possible. Too many people are capturing stuff. But it is a little bit odd. It really, really is. Love to hear your feedback. Okay, Verizon, they have really not done any more rollouts in different communities for Fios service since March. And, a lot of us have probably been scratching our head wondering why. And I don't know if it's maybe the profitability level isn't as high in those accounts or something. But the company's pretty excited today over at Engadget. And, of course, this was a press release that came out by Verizon, is that they can almost serve Gig E, another 1 gig up-down service, on their existing Fios platform And that's pretty shocking if you think about that they are um, able right now to achieve speeds of 925 megabits to a local server over a 800 megabits. See, it's Verizon saw speeds of 925 megabits per second to a local server and over 800 megabits per second to a regional speed test server located some 400 miles away. Now, they did this through a minor tweak of the fiber optic signal. And of course, they're not talking about how they were actually able to achieve this. So, they got all these great speeds, yet we see cable providers wanting to put caps on us and limit upload speeds and everything else. And here Verizon has gotten to the point where they're able to get a lot more oomph out of the fiber that's existing with very few changes. Now, I just wish Verizon would come to Hawaii and roll out FiOS here, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I don't think that's going to happen too soon. But for those of you on that, maybe you could foresee faster speeds in the coming years. A vending machine trial in the UK is kind of interesting. Many of us go to our local drugstore. We go to Walmart, to CVS to pick up prescriptions, and you have to wait in line. It's sometimes it's a pain, sometimes it isn't. But they've got this new trial going on with a vending machine that distributes your prescription. And basically, you go up and put your fingerprint on or some sort of ID verification. Sometimes, when you pick up a prescription, sometimes the pharmacist has to do a consult with you, has to give you some warnings about the medicine that you may be taking. And it connects you with a live pharmacist where he can explain the drugs that you're getting, the warnings and everything else. And then once he's done, then he basically can print out those printouts as they're required to give you now and issue your medication. And I think this is pretty amazing, really. And what they're thinking is going to happen here is that this will be used in rural locations, not maybe in big cities, but this will be something where the pharmacy machine itself is stocked with a certain amount of typical pharmaceuticals that are being, issued on a daily basis. I can see where these machines will become the target of thieves. Folks that are looking to score some drugs. They'll be, you'll see these things being drugged down the street behind pickups with them chained to them. But Pharmacy Express and coming to a vending machine near you. So it's all about reducing expenses, folks. That's what it is. Hey, in Japan, the train systems, especially in Tokyo, run like clockwork. And the Japanese themselves are very. If you're in a car and you get stuck on the tracks, or you personally cause the train to be delayed, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in basically, I'm sorry I made you late money. Today, it appears an overheating Apple iPod brought trains on Tokyo's insanely busy commuter train network to an unscheduled stop for 8 minutes during the city's early morning rush hour. And you don't stop trains at 8 o'clock in the morning without some retribution. But, Apple has recently been ordered by safety regulators in Japan to release some older iPad Nanos that had some overheating issues. But anyway, what happened was when a staff member went to investigate inside the train, of course, some sort of smoke detector detected there was an issue. The passenger showed the iPod that she was listening to that had burst apart. So I'm sure this will continue to cause Apple trouble in Japan. But I wonder if, in that case, if the customers are going to have to pay his fellow passengers for making them late or inconveniencing them. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. Maybe Apple will have to pay the penalty. How many of you have been using your iPad or your iPhone or even your Android and you have it locked with a password? And if you're like me, you're opening it up and putting your password in 10 times a day, right? Well, there's a little bit of an issue. apparently, people that are losing their cell phones are very quickly finding out that their phones are being unlocked. And because what the crooks do is they look at the phone and they figure out which numbers you've been typing. So there's only so many combinations, and they're able to unlock your phone strictly just by the smudge mark that's on your iPhone or your Android. So be taking your phone and wiping it on your shirt or doing whatever you can to kind of mess up those smudge marks if you have your phone locked. Otherwise, just take your phone sometime and look at it in the light and see if you can tell the sequence that you use to lock your phone. So we'll see. We'll see if how many people are. I guess this is an issue. There's a warning about it. So, and I'm just looking at the two phones that have in this picture here, and yep, you can see us here 138. An emergency call. So really quick to figure that one out. And not too many, I only have just a few combinations there, and boom, I could be in that phone. So only time will tell if this becomes an ongoing issue with these with these touch screen phones. All right, the new Xbox 360 has been hacked to play backup disc. Public release is supposedly underway. So a group that's called Team Executor has a pretty good reputation out there. They've announced that they've hacked the Xbox 360 and will be releasing a patch soon to allow you to play backup of your original disc. And so be careful out there, because sometimes these hacks work great, sometimes they don't. But they show the demo off in a YouTube video. I have the link up for you in the show notes. Another article over on Engadget. You guys know that I've been to CES a number of times. I think I've interviewed the Magic Jack guys at least twice. And, of course, the Magic Jack has this mixed reputation. Some people love Magic Jack. Some people hate Magic Jack. And I know that a lot of guys that I served with in the military, they all own them. They all take them overseas. And when they get in a foreign country, basically they get up online, they plug these things into their phones, and they're able to have a telephone in their rooms with a local U.S. number. Now, of course, Skype has came on the scene, and a lot of people use that. But still, sometimes some people don't have Skype, or they're not technically inclined. They would just like to dial you locally. And with the Magic Jack, you can do that. Well, Magic Jack is coming out with a new service called Magic Talk. It's a piece of software for internet-connected phones and computers that will waive even the upfront costs that they have on what you get charged, I think, $20 a year for the Magic Jack. So this is going to add a whole new level of service to working with your Windows, Mac, your iOS 4, BlackBerry, and Androids by October. This is, I don't know if it's going to be a device, if it's going to be an app, or what they're exactly going to do, but they're pretty, they're doing some pre-announcements of what's coming. So those of you that are fans of Magic Jack may be interested in Magic Talk. Again, it's a piece of software for internet-connected phones and computers that will waive even the initial cost, again, of the Magic Talk device itself. So anyway, we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. I'm sure that'll be you'll see these advertisements all over TV. Hey, and I wish Magic Jack would come and advertise on podcasts. They love to spend money on advertising. They really do. Hey, over on Geek News Central, Alan posted a great article, and it's entitled Cool Music Sites That You May Not Know. And I got looking through this, and I didn't know about some of these. Some of these are pretty awesome. So Groove Shark, M-Spot, Mixpod are three that he has here reviewed. M-Spot, again, Groove Shark. And so check these out. If you're into online, if you're basically into music, these may be a couple of options for you. And he did a nice little write-up on them and basically described what each of them do. So definitely check that out. Over on, of course, Alan did a second post as well earlier in the weekend that talks about easy web template builders. And this is a great way if you're like me and you're not very graphically inclined, or you don't have a lot of, I guess for a better word, a lot of skills in building templates. You want to check out the Cool Template Designer. And Cool Template is pretty cool. It's at cooltemplate.com. It's a fast and easy way to design your own web templates right online. They have WordPress, Joomla, ASP.NET, or just straight up HTML templates, which I don't know very many people are just using a straight up HTML page anymore. But I don't know what this costs. I don't know if it's a free service, but it's a great way to build your own custom template using this service. And I played around with one of these similar type of products when I was using Movable Type before. And generally what you do, you just pick your layout the way you want it, and it produces all the code that you're going to need to import into your WordPress blog as a default template. You may have to add some colors and some graphics, and sometimes they provide that for you as well. But he's got a great write-up on this. He says, since my own site runs on WordPress, that was where I decided to take a look and do some testing. He says it's pretty simple, as a matter of fact. There are options for design, layout, color, backgrounds, border, header, menu, buttons, and footers. It's very easy, straightforward interface to design a theme. He says, of course, you still need a little design skill to make a good template, but anyone can get started here and learn how web templates work. And so anyway, I have this link in the show notes. You guys can check it out. Trucker Tom wrote a great article on the long tail, and he took a little different approach than I would on the long tail from my perspective, but it's always good to get other folks' perspective on what he's really building into the long tail. Essentially, he's saying is that now because he's changed his consumption habits, basically shut off his subscription TV service, he has a chance to go looking for material either on Netflix or a variety of different devices that allow him to get a new perspective on different topics, documentaries, and that type of stuff. And so he's got a good write-up there on what he's been able to find since really cutting off, his Dish Network or whatever he had before he canceled that. And he says now more obscure movies and TV shows that have had a limited lifespan and limited impact are able to take a new lease on life that used to simply not exist. He says, I'm particularly enjoying streaming documentaries on Netflix. There are some real gems out there. He talks about one that he watched called Cowboy Del Amor, and it's about a Texas matchmaker who specialized in matching up American men with Mexican women. So he says he had a great time watching that, and goes into a little bit about that. So anyway, so Trucker's Tom experience with dropping his TV service in July of this year is so far working out well. All right, fellas, especially if you're over in UK or France, you gotta chalk this one up to ingenuity on the ladies' parts. And the title of this article really says it all. Thieves use breast to distract victim. Police in France are looking for two attractive female thieves who bared their breast at a man at a cash point to distract him before stealing his money. And this is how it went. He walked up to the ATM machine, put his PIN in, and these two, damsels in distress, or for a better word, bare-breasted damsels, basically walked up on either side of him, and I guess as he's looking at what's going on, somehow, now this is how the story goes, and I don't know if this one here would be one where you would be like, is he telling the truth, or is he just making this story up to tell his wife what happened to the 300 pounds that are missing out of the checking account? But he punched his PIN code in, and then they quickly withdrew 300 euros from his account before the pair fled with the money. Now, it says the incident was captured on CCTV. and the women could not be identified. But I think about the time I'm at an ATM machine and two women come up with no shirts on or however they were exposing themselves. I would think there would be something really up at that point, especially if they're on either side of you. I would be probably hitting cancel or exit or whatever it is real quick. I don't think I would be that distracted. Um, First of all, how are they going to reach? How it is you have to keep it, put your pin in. You still have to push buttons, right? Cash withdrawal, you pick checking your savings, then you have to put the amount in, hit enter, then the machine, does its connection with the bank, and then the money, you hear the money. There had to be something else going on. Um, Maybe it was a really old man. I don't know. But anyway, a new way to rob someone, for sure. I have to give the folks in Barcelona kudos too. They've got a new way a new technical way, and this is an article on Gizmodo, to essentially capture pigeons. I guess they've got a huge pigeon issue in Spain right now, and so what city workers are doing. And let's see if I can bring this up and actually show. I'll talk you guys through what's happening here. I'll play this on the YouTube video. There's a worker out there, and he's throwing the pigeons. He's throwing them feed, and they're all gathering around to eat this. And there's another guy standing back with a contraption that shoots a net. And you just heard it. He just shot the net, and he's catching the pigeons right now. But I don't know what they're doing with the pigeons. But if I was in Barcelona, I would not be eating from any street vendors anytime soon. I guess they're exterminating the pigeons. They're having such a huge issue with them. But they're using a catapult-sprung net, and it caught the large majority of them. But they're going around all over the city and doing this and catching pigeons by the thousands. And again, probably unfair for those that live in Spain, but they're getting rid of these things. And I don't think there's actually, like in other parts of the world, where they actually have street vendors sending food. So that wasn't really fair. Spain is a beautiful country, and I've been there a number of times. And but it is kind of funny to watch them catch these pigeons with that cool trap. Hey, there's an article out saying that reverse engineering of a human brain likely by 2020. They're saying that science is getting to the point where they feel that they're going to be able to have a model, a computer model of all the interactions and how the brain works and fires and cross communicates and all the little things, that nuances that go on with our brains. They feel by 2020 they're going to be able to have that completely mapped, and which will lead to these machines being developed to have super high, basically as human intelligence. Now this is kind of thing. If you think about this, we're not that's here we are. We're 2010, right? 10 years away for them having the brain mapped, and you look at what processors are really able to do now. They've always wanted to make computers operate more like our brains do. So the question will they ever be able to achieve this? I don't think completely, but they say, though, that the key to reverse engineering the human brain lies in decoding and simulating the cerebral cortex. The human cortex is about 22 billion neurons and 220 trillion synapses. So they say a supercomputer capable of running software simulation of the human brain doesn't exist yet, and researchers would require a machine with a computational capacity of at least 36.8 petaflops and a memory of about 3.2 petabytes. A scale that supercomputer technology isn't expected to hit for at least 3 years. So we're not that far away from being able to hit that scale of a supercomputer. They're saying by next year, IBM Sequoia's supercomputer should be able to offer 20 petaflops per second peak performance, and even more powerful machine will be likely in 2 or 3 years. So who knows? We will see. At what point will these machines become self-aware? DARPA is a big think tank, and they really are responsible for really thinking as far outside of the box as possible. And they've got some big brains over there, and they really do some exciting stuff. Well, DARPA has a project that they've been working on. It's called the Electrodynamic Derbis Eliminator, or EDI. It's a brainchild of an engineer at Star Incorporated, and DARPA backers that are funding its development. Basically, what this is it's a spacecraft that would be loaded with, they say, as a single device would be maybe loaded with as many as 450 nets. And what they would do is this device would be put into orbit, and then as it encountered or as it got close to space debris, it would use the net to gather space garbage, anything bigger than 4.5 pounds, and then either with enough velocity, be able to shoot it at a direction that's going to put it in an ocean, or reel it back in. So this was pretty cool stuff. They feel, through calculations that they've done, is that 12 EDI craft, and it would be 12 craft that would be resupplied with more nets as they went through them. 12 EDI craft could clean up 2,500 objects over 4.5 pounds in about 10 years. And they're actually going to, I guess what they're already going to do is they're going to start testing. They have a test flight in 2013, and if that succeeds, they say that EDI could begin a full cleanup operation by 2017. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty quick. So we'll see what happens here. A lot of space junk out there. A lot of it a lot smaller than 4.5 pounds. It's just as dangerous or even more dangerous because it's so tiny and traveling at amazing velocities. But, maybe we can get rid of some of the space junk up there. And they also say that it could be used to collect everything in a central location to use in a recycling. So as this stuff has been so expensive to put into space, so long as they could group it together, that they would be able to potentially at some point, years from now, if scientists or future, if our civilization needs to use that material up there to build new devices or use it for, addition to a space station or whatever it may be. So pretty cool. Recycling is a potential. Gizmodo has an article on the top 10 most dangerous things you can do online. And this is a pretty good list with a lot of sub things underneath each one of them. Number one, checking the Keep Me Signed In box on a public PC. I think we all know, do not check the Keep Me Signed In box on any public PC or any PC that you use that is not yours, because that sets a cookie. You can log out, forget, and if you don't clear the password, then all of a sudden, boom, someone comes up to the machine, and they very easily could get into your whatever account you're at. Number two, failing to update Microsoft Windows, OS, Java, Adobe Reader, or Adobe Flash. So make sure you update those. Number three, the most dangerous thing you should not do on the net, searching for celebrity gossip, incriminating material, i.e. Adult type of material that sometimes is put online with celebrities. They say that basically the hackers out there know people are looking for this stuff, and that's really, a lot of that stuff is loaded with malware. Of course, number four, using BitTorrent to download copyrighted software, film, or TV shows. And it basically says that you could get infected by downloading some of this stuff. Number five, searching for free adult material. Number six, online gaming, free to play social games on Facebook and beyond. It says there's a lot of security issues there. So it goes on, and all the suggestions on what to do instead, and things to watch out for. So I'll have the link up in the course of the show notes to the top 10 most dangerous things you can do online. And I think it bodes well for everyone to go over and review those from time to time to essentially remind ourselves that it's a dangerous place on the net because people are out there to do bad things to our PCs. All right, Apple Television, according to the author of this article, his name is Jesus Diaz, says an Apple Television is a very stupid idea. And I don't know, Apple's done some amazing things that people didn't think would work, but it's being suggested that after the latest Apple TV rumor, or iTV rumor, that Apple will potentially introduce a 40-inch TV for about $2,000 with integrated apps, gaming, iPhone, and iPad connectivity. Now, here's the thing. Apple's going to have to get in the game sometime because all of the manufacturers are going to be coming out with their own televisions that are going to be integrated with apps, games, complete web access, the whole 9 yards. That'll be, you'll be able to be switching through your cable channels and basically go right into apps and games and different things that are going to be built right into your TVs. So maybe it's not so far off from the mark, but they're going to have to get the price down. No one's going to be willing to buy a 40-inch TV that costs $2,000, considering what 40-inch TVs cost today in our big box stores, if they're internet connected or not. But some people think that this idea is asinine and will never happen. But they do believe, of course, that the ITV is coming this fall. So time will tell on this, and I wouldn't be surprised if the ITV comes out, but I would be shocked if it was $99. If it is $99, a whole bunch of people are going to be in trouble, including Google. So someone over someone actually me on Facebook is watching the show right now. Said, do you still have a Drobo? Yeah, I've got a Drobo down here. Still use it, and it's pretty good, Jeff. So it's a great box. It really, really is. Next up, Android users are the new mobile data hogs. This is an article over on GigaOM. It appears that Android users are using a lot more data than iPhone users are. What the numbers are is Android only users, or Android is 72% 3G, 28% Wi-Fi, where iPhone users are 56% 3G, 44% Wi-Fi, and it's being proven that the Android users are using they're just using a lot more bandwidth than iPhone users are. So what's going to happen here is that Android users are going to start becoming underneath some of the same restrictions I'm sure that the iPhone is with their bandwidth utilization. So we'll see what happens here with this. But they're definitely, Android users are watching a lot more video over the 3G than the iPhone equivalents and so forth. So I don't think this comes as a surprise because of the number of Android phones being sold out there. All right, there's a good article at Robin Good's masternewmedia.org website. It's an article on video containers, codecs, formats, and settings explained. And boy, I tell you, this is going into my permanent, essentially a permanent bookmark, because I get asked this question all the time. Todd, what's the difference between WMV, MOV, AVI? What is web formats? What compression should I use? All this stuff I get this asked a lot. So this is a good article. Definitely those of you that are encoding video are pros at this may not need this article. But for those of you that are not, this is a good primer for you and get you a lot of good gouge here. Okay, over on Bloomberg Business Week, you heard about this indicted Apple manager. He basically showed up in court today. He said he was not guilty. And what this guy's been accused of doing is taking over $2.5 million in so-called consultation fees providing information back to a couple of foreign headphone manufacturers. What else what was the other company what do they make? But anyway, this guy gave the suppliers of iPhone and iPod accessories confidential data that helped them win better contracts from Apple in exchange for payments. According to the indictment, the suppliers included one Chinese and one Singapore-based manufacturer company. And basically those companies, hey, we thought we were working with Apple. This was a consulting fee. Ha, 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 ha. So basically Apple is going after this guy in a big way. And they are going for a full prosecution and retribution as well, or restitution as well. So we'll see. Yeah, definitely retribution. But we'll see how this turns out. But this has been going on for about 3 years now, so it took them a while to catch on to it. Hey, yeah, I'm going to have to smack down the old folks at Geek Squad because there is an article. Geek Squad owners send cease and desist order letter to God Squad. Now, this is a picture that was taken a couple of years ago, and I guess these are some priests that were in a Catholic seminary. And they had tricked out a bug, and they'd put on the site of basically God Squad as a way to help promote their faith and, if nothing else, drive conversation. Well, apparently the folks over at Geek Squad, part of Best Buy, were not real happy with the God Squad logo and sent a C&D to them. Here's the thing that's kind of funny. This is what the folks from Geek Squad said. This was a really difficult thing for us to do because we appreciate what Father Strand is trying to accomplish with his mission. But at the end of the day, it's a bad precedent to let some groups violate our trademark while pursuing others. I guess that they're working with the Father to get him a logo that will still work for his car but not infringe on Geek Squad's trademark. Oh, I'm sure these priests probably never thought that they would get a C&D by the folks over at Geek Squad. It's just it's kind of funny to me, but just goes to show you corporations don't have much of a sense of humor. All right, I hope you didn't get caught up in this. I hope none of you did. If you did, please, you need to really pay attention to what's going on with your computer. But how many of you heard about this Facebook dislike button? Well, the Facebook dislike button is a scam. And basically, it's loading malware onto your computers, okay? So don't fall for these scams. Stay away from the dislike button. This is not something that you're going to want to have on your PC. Stay away from it. It is not. It's going to ask for permissions to get information. Don't do it, okay? Please, please, please stay away from this. And if you have, come over here and read about this and figure out how to get your machine cleaned up and your profile fixed. How many of you have used SlideShare in the past? I've used SlideShare quite a little bit from time to time. And SlideShare at slideshare.com has come up with a pro version where you now we're going to get a bunch of features. You're going to be able to measure. You're going to be able to capture leads. You're going to have no ads on you're going to have branding. You can have control of your channel. A variety of different prices from $19 to $249 a month. The $249 one, woo, that's expensive. But if you use this a lot, this may be an option for you here. I know that a lot of folks at Dell, Microsoft, Edelman, Cisco, and Pfizer use the service quite a little bit. So monitor and measure your community. So go pro with the folks over there at SlideShare. So I'll have the link up for you up in the show notes as well. Good article in the New York Times talking about our brains in how we're tied into technology. I don't know about you guys, but I know the first thing I get up in the morning is really, oftentimes, my first stop is in my office and check email. Not always, but many times. And I know that the last thing I do before I go to bed is check email. And, I periodically check during the day. And, I'm a news junkie. I'll keep a couple of news I'll keep maybe Fox and CNN both loaded in a tab, and I'll go in and refresh those, every hour or so and see if there's anything news breaking. I have maybe a news reader up, watching Tech Stream. I have Tech Meme up. There's all kinds of things that we all track during the day, but some scientists wanted to find out if the brain changed after being away from technology for 3 or 4 days. And it's a pretty good article. What they did was they were up in Utah in the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, and no cell service, no power. It's not where you're going to take your laptop, basically go canoeing on the river. I don't know if there's any white water in this or not, but they spent a week in this area of remote southern Utah, rafting the San Juan River, and basically they've got a multi-page article here, a 4-page article on each person, how they were affected. They had 3 guys that basically said, listen, me being away from my technology, I'm the same person as I am now that I am when I'm using technology. And the other 3 guys say, no, we know that we're electronic junkies, and we need to have our electronic fix, our email, our our Facebook, all this stuff on a multiple time daily basis. So they wanted to see what would happen over a 5-day period. Well, I'm going to tell you, they need to take this to a new level. You guys remember, I've told this number of times, that after 9/11, I went for 72 days without email. Basically because I was in the military. About a week after 9/11, I loaded up and went to a remote location, and basically we were on lockdown. No email, no phone, nothing. Now, we did have television. We had a couple of channels of television. We did have our laptops with us, but there was really no communicating. We could play games and do whatever else or write letters, but there was no true internet available. And I was, I had to have my internet fixed, and I didn't get it. So I remember when I did check email for the first time after 72 days, I had like 3,800 emails or something that downloaded before my email inbox had filled up. And but I know that after those 72 days, I really changed. It was my perspective on using online resources were a lot different than before, and it was probably the best 12-step program that was forced upon me ever. And but it's a good read here on what happened to these individuals over their 5-day camping trip. 5 days is not enough. It really isn't. You're still in gotta have it mode, right? So anyway, I have this link up in the show notes for you. NASA has wrapped up the ISS cooling job. This has it's been a long haul. 3 separate spacewalks, I think 24, 25 hours total to get the cooler replaced. Basically a refrigerator-sized cooler, and it looks like everything's a go. Looks like the new pump and coolant system is working. So I'm sure NASA will have a few days of testing there, but they're up and running. Think about this thing. It was brought up to the International Space Station in 2006. It's been hanging out there in a storage bin, cold, vacuum of space, not operational. Pull it out, plug it in, boom, up and running. So I think that's bodes well for some of the stuff there on NASA. Now, here's the thing I found. There's a 63-page PDF of the International Space Station's main systems guide. I didn't know this existed, and it sucked me in today, and I spent about an hour going through this thing. You have got to read this. It's a 63-page. Actually, this is on the page 63 of the International Space Station main system guide. Didn't know this existed. Link will be within the article that I basically put in here today for you in the show notes. It's at the bottom of the article. I'll have that linked up in the show notes. You guys check it out, okay? All right, I'm going to have to go here. I'm going to run out of time before I get through all my articles tonight. There's some surveys done that most people really don't know about the best ways to save energy. So, good article over here on Arstetica.com about this. Have this link up in the show notes. Talks about, some true energy-saving techniques and some things to factor in when you're, looking at saving energy within your home. I'll have that in the show notes. Check this out. The RIAA in the radio industry, guess what they want to do? They want to make it They want to force consumer electronic companies, specific mobile device manufacturers, they want to force them and have Congress mandate that an FM radio receiver be built into cell phones, PDAs, and other portable electronics. They want to mandate that. Can you imagine that? You will put an FM receiver in that device. You have this is a new level of insaneness. Totally insane are these individuals from the broadcast industry. We don't need no radio. I just can't believe it. And of course, at the same time, the radio broadcasters are complaining about having to turn over hundreds of millions of dollars a year to pay artists. They want their cake and eat it too. I guess the advertisers are finding out that Apple's a little bit of a control freak when it comes to the iAd platform. 8 to 10 weeks of work to get a single ad up in the iAd system. And, usually got some cheap intern working on these ads, 8 to 10 weeks. So I think Apple's going to have to streamline that process a little bit. Hey, remember we talked about those folks that were going to basically go out to Google and protest? Folks, we really have to get our act together. If you're going to go protest Google, make sure you show up with more people than there are reporters. And make sure you stay longer than an hour. And don't forget to bring your signs. I guess there was about 100 people all told. And they hung out for an hour, had a few signs, said Google don't be evil and some other stuff. In true geek fashion, all these signs are perfectly printed. They're nothing handwritten with paint or nothing. When you see this, you're gonna, I don't get it. I really, just tell me. I would come to this article. Look at look at the pictures. Sorry, we do not know how to protest. We really don't. I'm serious. This is a disgrace. All right. Next Windows Home Server adds Mac support. So if you've got Windows and Mac machines in your home like we do in this household, the next Windows Home Server edition is going to have Mac backup support. Pretty exciting stuff, in my opinion. How many of you are going to be making the jump if Verizon brings on a new iPhone? 34% of people that are currently on AT&T say they're going to make the jump to Verizon if that happens. Will you really? Or will you wait and see how many people jump to Verizon and hope that the network speed up? What will you guys really do? Will you make the jump? Is anybody willing to go on the record right now and said if Verizon gets the iPhone that you're going to leave AT&T, pay the penalty, and switch to Verizon? How many of the Geek News Central audience will do that? If it says 34%, I would expect 34% of you, of this audience that have iPhones, and I know that's a significant number of you because we see it in the stats. How many of you do that? geeknews@gmail.com, voicemail hotline 619-342-7365. Hey, the Sony Dash, I basically had a interview of the folks at Sony at CES last year talking about the Sony Dash, but they've done an update to it. It's brought Shoutcast to the device. There's new app shortcuts and improved app delete functionality. So if you've got a Sony Dash, you can get that update right away. Skip those two. Looks like that in Congress, there's a number of Democrats who are against the Verizon Google mandate. And doesn't look like the legislatures are too happy about Google and Verizon trying to force legislation upon them. So we'll see. But the four members are all members of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And they are the ones that called for the FCC to set out the same net neutrality rules for wireless broadband as it does for wired broadband. And they say the proposal by Google and Verizon would exempt wireless broadband from the proposal would exempt wireless broadband from net neutrality regulations. Of course, the one that was done by Google and Verizon. And these lawmakers are not very happy about this suggestion. They said Google and Verizon need to focus on their business and quit focusing on trying to have legislate from the press, essentially. So we'll see how this works out. 5 million domains are serving malware via Network Solutions. If you've got a domain name registered at Network Solutions and it's going to a landing page that is not going to a website, it is probably, and if that domain is parked, it has probably got malware embedded on it. Network Solutions has been busy cleaning those up, but over the weekend, as many 5 million pages were loaded with malware. Hey, we're on Tech Dirt. They've got a pretty cool, comically absurd cartoons, and I think those of us that are geeks are going to love these. Have these linked up in the show notes for you to check out. And the last thing I want to cover tonight is an article, again, by Tech Dirt that talks about the insanity of music licensing in one single graph. And for those of you that are up on Ustream or on Justin TV, I'm just going to put this graph up. I'm not going to talk about it, but what I'd like all of you to do in the show notes, those of you that are listening, go to this article. It'll be the last link in the show notes for articles tonight, and just look at this graph and actually read it. Look at the steps people have to go through to license and work with music and the flow of royalties and so forth. I think you will be utterly amazed, as much as I was. And I stared at this thing for like 5 minutes, following the arrows here, there, backwards and around, and just shook my head. It's no wonder the artists don't get no money. This is the biggest scam of the whole country, is how this stuff all interacts and works and gets paid, and who people don't, and how it interacts with publishers and radio and TV and clubs, and totally insane. Absolutely crazy. All right, let me go ahead and get into the voicemails real quick, and then we'll get into the emails. Some of these are real short, so I don't even know if these are legitimate voicemails or not. We'll find that out here real quick. But again, geeknews@gmail.com, voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. Here we go on the first voicemail.
This is William Greenfield. I'm trying to connect to my computer up to get my Gmail, and I can't get it. It won't bring it up on their station. And I'm getting it through Mediacom and their security system, and I called Mediacom. They say that there's something wrong with the Gmail service. That's why it won't come up. There's something wrong with Gmail. I wanted to find out if there is. Why? Could you give me a call? It's 563.
Please, folks, be careful. They're giving me a fair warning. I don't know if I hope that this is a listener of the show. I don't know if there's someone thinking they're calling a helpline. We're going to help you, and I'm not familiar with MediaCon itself, but if you're having problems getting to Gmail, my first thing that I would do is, once you get hooked up to your computer to your internet service provider, is definitely disable your firewall. You basically disable the firewall that you have running. If you're just running Windows and you're running the Windows firewall, just disable it for a few minutes and try to go to gmail.com and see if you can get in there. Otherwise, is anyone else that listen to the show working with MediaCon as a service provider? If we are, maybe we can help him out and see what we can do. But kind of odd. Gmail is usually never blocked through firewalls or even onboard software. So we'll see if we can get you some help there. Here comes the next voicemail.
Hey, Mr. Cochran, it's Bill and Brent from Mantalk in Miami. Phone number 954.
Okay, so someone was calling me. Bill, I'll check that voicemail. Obviously, it sounds like a business call, not necessarily a show call. Here comes the next voicemail. Okay.
Hi, I saw your website on the internet, and I have a quick question for you. If I could show you how to recruit 5 to 10 new people into your business every week while earning up to $10K per month without...
Oh, my gosh. Instant caller, hey, I saw your website on the internet, and we can help you make money. Why do I want to recruit people? He saw my website. I don't need to... These folks and these, I need to add that telephone number to the nationwide do not call list. That's for sure. Jeez. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's go ahead and get into the email, which is, I guess for a better word, more legitimate. Got an email here from Frank. He said, "Hey Todd, school board adopts new policies Monday night, and this is in relation to the Lower Merion School District laptop spying case. And so the Lower Merion School District has set up new laptop policies. I haven't got a chance to look and see what they actually did, Frank, but thanks for sending that over. We'll get a quick look on this. Got an email here from Nancy. She says, "Hey, I live on the Gulf Coast. Yes, the situation has been bad, but the media has done a great job of overinflating it. Wildlife has been harmed and jobs have been affected, but there isn't a huge blanket of black sand. It's not hugely ugly, and I think BP did as much as they could have done to handle claims and stop the flow." So I got this from Nancy, and I don't know, Nancy. We may get some reaction on this email. It's interesting you say that the situation has been bad, but the media has done a great job of overinflating it. Someone else on the Gulf got some comments on this? I'd love to hear from you guys as well. I'm basically trying to get as much feedback as possible here, but thanks, Nancy, for sending that out. And I'm not going to say who she works for. She's got the link here in her email, but we appreciate your comments. Got an email from Andrew. He said, "Hey, Todd, first big congratulations, show 600. Thanks for Andrew." He said, "Here's some quick links. A giant nets could someday capture space trash." We covered that, didn't we? Big ebook partnership in Japan. Roll-up laptop video. So I have these up in the show notes. These links that Andrew's been so nice to send over. On a sadder note, Andy McCaskey sent me an email this morning, and you guys may have watched the UMA interviews that we have done at CES over the last couple of years. Sad news that one of the founders, or actually one of the individuals that was at UMA, passed away over the weekend, and his name is Rich Buchanan. And the notice went out this morning that he had passed away. So, it's kind of interesting. You talk with these folks at the shows and you get to know them. And this guy's a real professional, had his act 100. He was a great guy, really, really was. And sad to hear of Rich's passing. And Andy knew him very well as well because, we'd spent a lot of time at the UMA booth before. So hearts go out to Rich's family. Thanks, Andy, for sending that over. Got an email here from Nicholas. He said, "Hey, Todd, just received the Roku box in the mail. Let me just say I love this thing. I never really considered buying one of these because I thought it would be so underpowered and slow that it wouldn't be worth using. But I couldn't have been more wrong. This thing is great. Also, I checked out your channel on the Roku, and it looks incredible. Please tell your developer they did a great job with the layout and getting the content in a very user-friendly format. And the video quality was much better than I expected. I don't think I will watch every show on the Roku, but I will anytime I'm at home and want to catch your show. But most of the time, I listen to your podcast while I'm at work, so it'll be mostly via the audio stream. Please keep up the great work." And thanks, Nick. I definitely appreciate that. And don't worry about the additional comment. You're a great listener, a great a member of the Ohana. So he put some information there I'm not going to read, but I'm glad you like the Roku and enjoy, and keep sending these little tidbits of what you like. I think a lot of people have been resistant in buying one of those devices. It is truly a great experience. It really is. Got an email here from Andy. He said, "Some people look over the screen at their boss and think they're there, okay, let me read this again. Some people look over the screen at their boss and think there, but the grace go I. After all, being the boss, the leader, has to be about the easiest job in the world. What to do? Sit around, give orders, check the work, take the credit for success, blame others for failures. Problem is, it just doesn't work that way, and even the best leaders need to brush up and hone their skills. Here's some ideas and thoughts that may help you become even a better leader than you already are. Yes, you're awesome. Take a look at the article here." And he provides me a link to a Google Doc. He said, "Want illustrations? Let us know. Want to get a piece? Want to use a piece? Go for it." So Andy sent this over, and Andy's part of a PR firm. I know he listens to the show. And this is a pretty good doc on improving leadership skills. So thanks to Andy for sending that over. Definitely appreciate it. Sam, got your email. We'll respond soon. Got an email here from Jack. He says, I think actually I read this on the last show. Let me look at the date on this. No, I think we're good to go. Hey, Todd, I've been using a D. Let me look at the time. Oh, we're real long. I've got a whole bunch of emails I need to cover as well. I'm going to star this, Jack, and there's a bunch of emails I need to go back and cover from our previous show. We'll do that on the next show, but I'm just out of time here. I ran long. But Jack, Asher, Chris, Andrew, Ron, Bree, Glenn, John, Clinton, Leslie, Gary, Greg, Frank, all those guys I still need to back cover on your emails. Thanks for sending those in. I definitely appreciate it. As always, hey, love to have you guys here. Thanks for hanging out with me, and hope you enjoyed the show. Kind of a laid-back show tonight, kind of getting back in the swing of things. One more show here in Honolulu. Then I'm going to be on travel for a week. I'm going to have 2 shows on the road. Then I'll come home. I'll do 1 show here in Honolulu before I leave for Silicon Valley. And then from 2 weeks from Thursday, the show will be delayed a day because I will be flying back Thursday, getting in very late into Honolulu, and we'll just record the show on Friday. But more on that later, but I'll have the next show will be here in Hawaii, then 2 shows on the road, 1 at home, and then 1 delayed. But everyone have a great week. We'll see you next time around. geeknews@gmail.com, voicemail hotline 619-342-7365. Until next time, everyone take care, and aloha.